Hello and welcome back to Kaylee Daily. Today's question is the ever-pressing, will I poop when I'm pushing?
This is Kaylee Daily, the bi-weekly podcast about all things doula tips and tits, where we answer one question about pregnancy, labor, postpartum, or lactation in order to have your journey in this parenting world be just a little bit more informed and filled with consent.
Welcome back to Kaylee Daily. I am Kaylee Harad, your host, childbirth educator, doula, mom of three, and I just want to dive right into the ever exciting topic of will I poop when I am pushing out my baby? So, I need to stop having yes or no questions because I just answer them in one word. So, the answer to will I poop when I'm pushing is maybe. You might, right? However, I want to, of course, add some context to that and talk about why pooping when you push is actually a good thing, which I know sounds weird. So, first of all, if we think about the pelvic floor, the whole pelvic floor is filled with the baby's head as your baby is coming down to the pelvis. That means your rectum gets squished alongside everything else, right? So if there's anything below the baby's head in the rectum, it will come out before the baby comes, okay? So does that mean every single person that ever pushes poops? No, that's not true. That's not the case. It depends on what is below the baby's head in the rectum, right? Like some people have diarrhea before they go into labor, and then those folks are less likely to poop in the midst of pushing. But if you do poop while you're pushing, it actually tells everyone that you're pushing in the right place, right? Because it means that the baby's head is coming down. That's what's causing that poop to come out. That's a good thing. So here's some information about it that I want you to know. First of all, if you are giving birth in any scenario where you're being supported, so you're like in a birth center, at a home birth, but with midwives who are supporting you, or at a hospital, your care team is going to clean up any poop that happens very quickly. Okay. So one of the things that I think is helpful to know is that if you do poop, you might not know that. You, in fact, likely won't know that. It does mean that you're pushing in the right place. So if you're pushing with an epidural specifically, and you can't feel if you're pushing in the right place, then your team is going to be really excited if they see poop, although they won't tell you that. They'll just be like, oh, you're pushing in the right place. You're so perfect. Now, if they say that, it does not mean that you're pooping. It's not necessarily the case, but it means that you are being productive in what you're doing. The other thing is that it's going to feel like you are pooping, even if you're not. So the reason that I mention that is that we as adult people have trained our bodies really well to not poop in front of people or in public or when we're not on a toilet or someplace where we can poop, right? And so because of that, when you feel the sensation like you're going to poop, it's really easy to tense up your pelvic floor and keep that pressure inside of you. But if it's the baby's head, then of course you're working against yourself because you're pushing the baby's head down to get them out of you, and you're also tensing up your pelvic floor to keep them in you, right? So the more you can welcome this sensation of needing to poop, knowing that it is in fact a sign of progress of the baby's head, then the more you're going to be able to relax your pelvic floor. Now, the next episode that you're going to hear is a episode with a dear friend of mine who is a pelvic floor PT. We're going to talk all about the pelvic floor. But I want you to think about how your pelvic floor actually just needs to relax and get out of the way. It does not have to do much of anything, right? So we want it to relax. In order for it to relax, you have to let it relax, right? You have to be okay with the pressure that you're feeling inside your pelvic floor. Okay. So the short answer is you may or may not poop. No one can know that in advance. The second part of that is if you do poop, it's a sign of progress. The third part is even if you don't poop, you're going to feel like you are. Okay. I know this is super exciting content talking about poop, second week in a row, second episode in a row, because all in 1 week we're talking about poop. But I want you to know that it's normal because, again, if we want oxytocin to be high, and that I talk about constantly, so high oxytocin, high oxytocin, high oxytocin, then you need to normalize the process of labor and welcome the sensations that are normal in the midst of labor and let them happen as they need to happen. So, I will see you on the next episode with my dear friend and pelvic floor PT. Until then, continue to have well-educated, consent-filled births. I almost forgot to remind you that I have an oxytocin free guide that just came out. It's brand spanking new. And the link for that is in the show notes. So if you want to grab that guide, I really recommend it. It's all about labor preparation and raising your oxytocin, totally free. Grab it on my website. I will put the link in the show notes for you. Also remember that this episode, all these episodes are on YouTube as well. So if you prefer to watch them versus listening or reading them, then you're able to do that. So I will see you in the next episode.
Edited and produced by Kaylee Harrod, as I'm sure you can probably tell. And our amazing music is credited in the show notes as well. So we look forward to seeing you on the next episode. And in the meantime, have wonderful and consent-filled births.